raised several concerns in the medical community. One is the bullying of residents by their senior consultants. And after that, Mr. President, it opened a can of worms, if you will, dahil sunod-sunod po natanggap ko na mga tawag mula po sa medical community, particular na po mga doktor, because they want to clean their ranks, and they came to me voluntarily to offer information that would help na para mapaganda po ang pamamalakad sa ating medical community. Now, I also raised the question about the violation of the Generics Act of 1988. I mentioned to Health Secretary Ted Herbosa that there are instances when patients and hospitals are forced to purchase expensive branded medicines from the hospital pharmacy. Minsan pa, walang choice ang pasyente sa branded o generic pag nirasyon na ng nurse ang mga gamot. Sa hirap ng buhay, naniniwala po ako sa dikain ng Generics Act natin dahil kawawa po ang pangkaraniwang mamamayan na walang pambili ng gamot. I was surprised when Secretary Herbosa said that there are instances where doctors really prescribe branded medicines because sometimes it is more effective and more potent. Sinabi ko po sa kanya, kung ganun pala, bakit dapat hindi na-aproba ng FDA ang nasabing generic na gamot kung wala naman pala itong bisa? Mas lalong mapapamahal si Juan de la Cruz. Kung ang murang gamot ay hindi naman pala gumagana, dapat dumadaan talaga sa masusing pagsisiyasat ng FDA ang mga ito. Nung nasabing hearing na yon, ko na inilatag kay Secretary Herbosa ang issue tungkol sa mga junket trips ng mga doktor sa iba't ibang bansa kung saan sponsor ang mga pharmaceutical companies. Medyo nagtalo kami ni Secretary Herbosa dahil dito sabi niya bawal na daw ito dahil tayo ay signatory ng Mexico Protocol kung saan bawal ang mga medical professionals na tumanggap ng mga benefits or gifts from pharma companies. Sabi niya, sinusunod daw ito ng mga medical organizations. Ang hindi ko po maintindihan, bakit ayaw aminin ni Secretary Herbosa ang rampant na practice na ito? Wala daw po siyang knowledge na rampant ito. Sabi niya, ang junket ay nung araw nangyayari bago na pirman ang Mexico Protocol. Pero kung meron daw may mga regulations na pwede namang kasuhan ng mga pharmaceutical companies na lumabag dito, paulit-ulit siya niyang sinasabi na kasuhan ng mga pharma companies. Ang pinagtataka ko po, hindi pa it takes two to tango. Dapat may liability din ang mga doktor. Medyo marami pong hindi natuwa sa akin sa medical community. Gusto ko po linawin, malaki pong respeto ko sa medical practitioners. Sabi po, sila po ang ating mga frontliners and they have proven time and time again na sila ay mga bayani. But this lukewarm reception of my concerns is what bothers me. Bakit parang hindi bothered ang DOH? Talaga bang walang dapat ikabahala? Hindi po. After the hearing, ang daming nag-confirm ng mga sinabi ko. Mga doktor po mismo ang lumapit sa akin after that hearing. Apparently, I opened a can of worms in the medical and pharmaceutical industry. Mr. President, a well-respected doctor approached me regarding a multi-level marketing scheme involving doctors and a certain pharmaceutical company, the Belkens Pharmaceutical Incorporated, in existence for 17 years. Under the scheme, doctors are given gifts, watches, cars, cash, etc. for them to meet their quota. They also earn from doctors in their downline. Under the scheme, ang mga doktor ay pinipilit ang mga gamot sa mga pasyente kahit hindi po kailangan ng pasyente. They even have coaches who monitor and supervise them in pushing the products. The pharma companies are able to track the activities of these doctors and determine who are indeed delivering and performing well. Ibig sabihin, nakamonitor po ang aktibidad ng mga doktor base po sa kanilang mga pagreseta. While it is not illegal per se, on the part of doctors, it is unethical and immoral. Mr. President, our people are barely making ends meet, and rarely do they have medical expenses counted on their monthly budget. Kaya po, pag may nagkakasakit, bawat sentimo ay mahalaga. This MLM scheme is troubling for the medical community for several reasons. Una, malamang hindi nag-iisa itong kumpanyang ito. Ang balita ko, dahil dito lang sa Manila, sila nagko-concentrate, ngayon lumawak na sa probinsya. Dati sa mga cardio department lang, cardio department. Ngayon, mas maraming department na ang gumagaya. Pangalawa, kawawa naman ang mga may sakit dahil siya ay napipilitang bumili ng mga gamot na hindi naman pala nila kailangan. Sayang ng pera nila dito, baka lumala pa ang kanilang sakit. Pangatlo, this puts the medical field in a bad light. Patients are going to second-guess the prescription of their doctors. Sa medical field, there is premium on trust because it is a specialized field na hindi naman naintindihan ng pangkaraniwang tao. So kung wala kang tiwala sa doktor, bakit di ka nalang pumunta sa doktor? O i-google na lang ng mga tawang sakit nila, and that is very dangerous. We have to review the Generics Act of 1988 and the Universally Accessible, Cheaper and Quality Medicines Act of 2008. Kasi nga po, si Secretary Herbosa mismo nagsabi na may mga gamot na hindi clinically effective. Sinabi po yan mismo ni Secretary Herbosa, galing mismo yan sa kanyang bibig na meron daw po mga branded na gamot, na meron daw po mga generics na gamot na hindi raw po effective. Kaya hindi raw niya po yan piniprescribe nung siya po ay nagpa-practice pa bilang isang doktor. Not all medicines are created equal. Some have varying bioefficacy and bioequivalence. Kung ganoon pala, bakit hindi ito in-address ng FDA? Why do we approve generic medicines and tell people that it is the same as branded ones kung hindi naman pala ito epektibo? I still believe in generic medicines, pero dapat it should really be equivalent to branded ones insofar it is clinically effective. The FDA is to be at the forefront of this concern. What tests are they doing to check on the potency of these medicines? Paano nakapasok sa merkado ito mga ineffective na gamot? Malawak ang sakop ng mga scheme na ito sa pharma industry. Kasamang FDA, mga opisyal ng ospital na in charge sa procurement, mga doktor na nagbibigay ng prescription, at pati sa mga drugstores na minsan sinasabi ay wala ng stocks na mga generic medicine para lamang mabenta ang branded. Or sinasabing wala ng available na mga branded medicines para mabenta lang ang mga generics medicines. Nagkasanga-sanga na po ang problema. Ang tawag po dito ay switching, na kuminsan ay kasabot din daw po, unfortunately, ay mga tao na nagbabantay sa butika. Isa pang lumapit sa akin after the hearing sa committee ay ang sumbong ng isang doktor sa Bulacan. Ang concern niya naman ay practice ng isang doktor na nagkakandak ng multiple pterygium surgeries in a day. Minsan, 38 surgeries sa isang araw. At ang requirement niya sa mga tao ay basta may PhilHealth ID. Libre na ang surgery mo. Siya ay nakakapag-claim ng 30,000 surgery per eye. He recruits patients from different towns and barangays. It has been 2 years since the doctor reported this sa PhilHealth pero wala pong nangyayari. Ibig sabihin, matagal na pong nireport po sa PhilHealth itong modus ng isang doktor sa Bulacan, pero ang PhilHealth nagbulag-bulagan at nagbingi-bingihan o marahil merong kasabot ang doktor na ito sa loob ng PhilHealth. Marami pa rin po siyang narinig na ganito mga fraudulent procedures. Ang PhilHealth pilit na pinagkakasya ang naokolekta upang matugunan ang mga pangangailangan ng taong bayan ay iniisahan pa ng mga doktor ng ganito. It's about time na may magbantay sa mga ginagawa ng doktor. Opo, Mr. President, nandyan nga yung Professional Regulations Commission sa tulong ng Board of Medical Examinees. Pero mawalang galang na po sa mga taga-PRC. Daig nyo pa po ang pagong kapag kayo po'y kumilos dyan. Ang dami ko na po natanggap ng mga sumbong na kapag kayo po ay nagpalabas ng inyong resolusyon sa isang reklamo that after 5 years, kuminsan after 10 years, kuminsan patay na ang pasyenteng nagreklamo. Bakit napakabagal umaksyon ng PRC sa mga reklamo ng medical malpractice? Sa magkanong kadahilanan? The Board of Medical Examiners have to police their ranks. They have to protect industry from these unscrupulous and greedy doctors who put their financial interests ahead of their duty to providing healthcare to the people. Mr. President, our doctors should be put at a higher standard compared to other professions. According to the Supreme Court, the medical profession directly affects the very lives of the people, unlike other careers which, for this reason, do not require more vigilant regulation. I hope that to the Committee on Health and Demography, we can end these schemes that harm the medical field and our people. I believe there is a need to put stiffer penalties for these unethical and immoral acts. They must be declared illegal. Finally, it will be useless if these laws could not be implemented by a competent disciplinary board. The PRC must go to the bottom of why administrative cases filed against doctors are not resolved. Finally, FDA must review its procedure in regulating the pharma industry to ensure only quality medicines are given to patients. It is the policy of the state to protect public health, and when public interest or circumstances of extreme emergency so require, it shall adopt appropriate measures to promote and ensure access to affordable quality drugs and medicines for all. That then ensure that these are not just words, but a reality for our people. Thank you, Mr. President. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may I just appeal, Mr. President, to our distinguished colleagues because Senator Ligarda wanted to deliver a we wanted to tackle and adopt a resolution celebrating the accomplishments of our kababayans, especially our guests in the gallery.
Yes.
Who are here today, Mr. President. But of course, we will entertain, Mr. President, any manifestations, but perhaps we can continue with, if someone would like
What
to
we will do,
interpolate,
may
we
I
can
ask my-
suspend afterwards.
To support the majority floor leader, we can suspend these two topics, well, they're the same topic of
Yes.
Senator Estrada and Senator Tulfo, and continue the discussion after we approve the resolutions. But
Yeah.
if it's all
Right now, Mr. President,
because there's also
we
two behind you that
There
also
are
raised
two
their
or
hand.
three more, Mr. President, who wanted to. I hope, Mr. President, would just be a manifestation instead of interpellation. If there will be an interpellation, Mr. President,
We
I will
suspend it
suspend
for
first, Mr.
later
President,
hour,
for
for
a
later
later
hour.
hour. So at this juncture, Mr. President, Senator Pia Cayetano actually was the first one who approached this representation. But if with the indulgence of
The gentleman from San Juan is saying ladies first. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
To our
Senator
Deputy
Pia
Majority Floor
Cayetano is
Leader.
recognized, then Senator J.V. Ercito, then Senator Rizal de Veras, and Senator Bong. Go, Mr. President.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I committed to the majority leader, this is very short. It really just is a matter of jurisdiction. I chaired the Committee on Health for many years, and similar issues were brought up. But at the end of the day, Mr. President, if this involves government agencies who are not doing their jobs faithfully, then it would be a matter for the Blue Ribbon. So I will leave that decision, the discussion for that decision, till after all the interpellations are done and after conferring with the chairman, of course, of the Committee on Health and the sponsors of the two privileged speeches. But I do want to bring up that in both speeches that were delivered today, both gentlemen referred to the DOH and the FDA and then the PRC and asked the questions, what are these agencies doing about it? So on that note, and if they are failing to do their job, then that becomes a Blue Ribbon issue, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got some very important information coming from the chair of the Committee on Health. But Mr. President, may we recognize our Deputy Majority Leader, Senator J.V. Ercito?
Yes, our Deputy Majority Floor Leader, Senator J.V. Ercito, who brought this up on TV the other day. I was watching him on TV the other day. Was recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. For the record, we have earlier sought an inquiry on the same issues raised by Senators Estrada and Senator Tulfo. We have filed proposed Senate Resolution number 1011, which will be discussed in tomorrow's hearing under the Committee on Health. Our objective is that since doctors mismo, Mr. President, ang unang naglabas sa media ng mga alleged collusions between doctors and pharma, we just want to know if it's within the ethical bounds by itong mga nireklamo ng kapwa-doktor nila. We also want to know if nakaka-apekto kaya ito, no, itong multi-level marketing scheme being employed to the prices, so sa presyo ng gamot, because we passed Universal Healthcare Act, Generics Act, specifically to lower down the cost of medical expenses. And Mr. President, consider that more than 50% of the out-of-pocket expense of health expenses accounts to medicine and pharma. We want also to emphasize, Mr. President, that hindi natin nilalahat ang lahat ng doktor. Marami sa kanila ay mga mabubuting tao. They are all good people and good servants. Kaya we need to probe this issue so that the people trust in our doctors will remain solid. But issues raise several ethical, legal, and policy questions. First, it contravenes many regulations and protocols meant to insulate doctors from undue influence. Second, ano ang epekto nito sa ating cost of healthcare? We passed the UHC, as I mentioned, para babaan ang out-of-pocket expenses. For the record, that's been lowered to 44.7% in 2022 compared to more than 60% before UHC was passed. Pero para saan po ito? If a few individuals will just prescribe pricier drugs and unnecessary supplements. That's all, Mr. President. I look forward to a clear and comprehensive discussion of these issues in tomorrow's hearing under Senator Bongo. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Senator Estrada. Senator Ercito, sorry, Senator J.V. Ercito.
Thank you. Mr. President, our Deputy Minority Leader is also seeking the floor. May I move that she be recognized, Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Our Deputy Minority Floor Leader, Senator Risa Ontiveros, is recognized.
Salamat kaayo, Mr. President. A brief manifestation tungkol sa kaugnay pero importante ring issue na nabanggit ng good gentleman from Isabela sa kanilang privilege speech. Sinalaysay po nila sa atin na sinabi ni Health Secretary Erbosa na may mga generic medicines na hindi effective kaya hindi niya masyadong pine-prescribe. At merong ding binanggit ayon sa good gentleman mula sa Isabela, si Sec Erbosa, tungkol sa bioequivalence na hindi lahat ng generic medicines ay may bioequivalence sa mga branded na gamot. Humihingi po ako, Mr. President, ng importanteng paglilinaw mula sa Health Secretary dahil yung mga issue na binanggit nila ay ilan sa importanteng kasama sa ipinasa nating matagal ng Quality Affordable Medicines Law o Cheaper Medicines Law na mula sa House of Representatives noon, magkasama kami ni dating Representative Juni Cua. At dito naman sa Senado, naalala ko po ang aming counterparts noon ay si dating Senador Mar Rojas at ang Gentle Lady mula sa Taguig and Pateros. At itong mga kaugnay na issue na binanggit din ni Sec Erbosa ay nasa heart and soul ng generics law. For the record lang and briefly, Mr. President, a generic drug is a pharmaceutical drug that contains the same chemical substance as a drug that was originally protected by chemical patents. Kaya't importanteng bahagi ng cheaper medicines law. Further, a generic drug has the same active pharmaceutical ingredient o API as the original, but it may differ in some characteristics such as the manufacturing process, formulation, excipients, color, taste, and packaging. At huli, Mr. President, for the record tungkol sa bioequivalence is the biochemical similarity of two or more drugs that share the same active ingredient or ingredients and desired outcome or outcomes for patients. Hanggang ngayon, Mr. President, napakahirap ngang i-implementa ng kompleto at maayos yung generics law at yung bahaging iyon sa cheaper medicines law. Para lahat po ng ating mga butihing doktor ay isulat talaga ang generic equivalent sa reseta, or yun ang unang isusulat, at kasunod lamang kung meron silang recommended na branded medicine, at na lahat ng ating mga pharmacists sa mga butika ay dapat sinasabi din sa customer kung may i-order silang branded medicine, kailangan sabihin, ma'am, sir, merong pong generic equivalent. May bioequivalent, kasimbisa, at di hamak na mas mura para i-encourage yung sinasabing rational drug use na hindi tingi-tingi mapipilitang bumili yung ating mga kababayan dahil hindi nila afford yung buong reseta. Ma-afford sana kung generic talaga ang isusulat ng ating mga doktor at generic talaga yung ipapayo ng ating mga pharmacist para ma-discourage na di nila makompleto yung buong treatment plan na nireseta ng doktor. Pag nagkasakit sila ulit, meron ng resistensya yung katawan nila sa gamot na yan dahil hindi nila nakumpleto. So, pahingi lamang po, Mr. President, mula sa pamamagitan ng Senado kay Sec. Erbosa ng klaro at napaka-importanteng paglilinaw para ma-encourage, hindi ma-discourage yung ating mga kababayan tangkilikin ang generic medicine. Salamat kayo, Mr. President. At
Maraming
salamat sa good
salamat.
gentleman mula sa Isabela.
Mr.
Thank you very
President, last but not the least to make a manifestation is the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Health, no other than Senator Christopher Bongo. I move that he be recognized, Mr. President.
Our distinguished colleague from Davao and Batangas, Senator Christopher Bongo, is recognized.
Mr. President, I joined the gentleman from San Juan and Zambales in his call to look into the issue and uphold patients' rights. This issue was briefly raised by Senator Rafi Tulfo during our April 2 hearing of the Committee on Health. As chairperson of the Committee on Health and Demography, I would like to inform the body that the committee will conduct a hearing tomorrow at 10 a.m. on the alleged multi-level marketing scheme involving a pharmaceutical company and some doctors allegedly owning some shares in the company, prescribing and aggressively encouraging patients to buy prescription medicines distributed by said company. We are conducting this investigation because it is the state's mandate to ensure the integrity of our entire public health system and to assure our people that those given the privilege to exercise their medical profession remain faithful and true to our laws and their ethical standards. Our objective is to uphold ethical standards in the medical profession and protect the rights of patients to appropriate medical care, information, and informed consent. Dapat po'y unahin ang kapakanan ng pasyente, hindi po ang pharmaceutical companies. Kalusugan po ang nakataya dito. Ang katumbas po ng kalusugan ay buhay ng bawat Pilipino. At Mr. President, gusto ko lang pong linawin. The President and CEO ng Belkens, nabasa ko kanina, Luis Go For the record, hindi ko po kamag-anak yan. Go pala ito mas lalo kang lagot sa akin. Kung mapatunayan po na totoo yung aligasyon. Nagkataon naman po na maraming Go sa Pilipinas. To Go, Go Hotel, Chokes to Go. Yun, suki mo. Anyway, hindi ko po kamag-anak yan. At lalo pong hindi ko kaano-ano ang Go na nananamantala sa ating mga kababayan. Hindi naman po masamang magnegosyo. Pero ito mukhang networking na po ito at pyramiding na po. Pag pumasok na yung negosyo sa kalusugan ay hindi na po tama yan. At nabalitaan ko nga, namimigay ng BMW. Kawawa naman yung mga doktor na naka-BMW at walang kinalaman. Alam nyo, most of our doctors are very professional at may kaya po itong mga doktor na to. Pinaghirapan nila yung profession nila. Kayang-kaya nila bumili ng BMW at Mercedes-Benz. At ako po most of our doctors are trustworthy at pinagkakatiwalaan. Kaya nga po, ipinagkatiwala natin sa kanila ang ating kalusugan. As chairman po ng Senate Committee on Health, pinapriority ko po ang mga mahirap, lalong-lalo po yung pasyenteng walang pambili ng gamot. Kung ganito ang ginagawang sistema, pinagsasamantalahan na po ang mga pasyente. Nawawalan po ng choice ang pasyente kundi sundin yung reseta kahit mahal na po ang gamot. Nagiging negosyo na po ang paggamot, hindi na po interes ng pangkalusugan. Pinagkakakitaan na, sa huli ang talo dito yung mga pasyente, lalong-lalo na po yung mga mahirap. Ulitin ko, unahin po natin ang pasyente, hindi po ang pharmaceutical companies. Noong panahon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, nag-issue siya ng executive order imposing a maximum drug retail price para babaan po ang presyo ng mga pangunahing gamot. Having said that, Mr. President, I just want to point out that most doctors are known to be very professional, kaya nananatili malaki po ang aking tiwala sa ating mga doktor at mataas ang respeto ko sa medical profession. Napaka-sensitive na trabaho po ang kanilang ginagawa at napaka-importante po ang integridad sa kanilang profesyon. Concerned tayo dahil ayaw nating dumating ang panahon na mawala ng tiwala ang publiko sa mga reseta ng mga doctors natin. Sa mga payo ng mga doctors natin dahil lang umano sa iilan lang pong mga tiwaling individual. Alam naman natin ang dakilang sakripisyo ng ating mga medical doctors at hindi natin matatawaran kung yung kanilang sakripisyo sa panahon ng pandemya, hindi po natin mararating ito kung hindi po dahil sa kanila. Marami sa kanila nagbuwis po ng buhay at nagkasakit sa panahon ng COVID. Ayaw nating umabot na sa punto na pagdududahan ng mga kababayan natin, lalo na yung mga kapos sa buhay, ang nireseta sa kanila ng doktor nila kasi sasabihin na may komisyon dyan sa mga doktor at dahil nagdududa na nga, ayaw na nilang bumili ng gamot. Mas lalong lalala ang sakit. Mas lalong lalaki po ang gastusin ng ating mga pasyente. We will conduct the hearing tomorrow to get to the bottom of this issue. At nag-issue rin po ang DOH ng Department Circular 2024-041 calling all concerned to uphold ethical standards. Kung sino man po nag-issue nitong ethical memo about ethical standards, dapat kayo mismo ay maging good example. Siguraduhin nyo lang po kung sino yung nag-issue ng mga memo na ito na kayo rin po ay sumusunod sa ethical standards. Sigurado kayong hindi rin kayo tumatanggap ng mga mamahaling sasakyan. At we will conduct the hearing tomorrow. Rest assured, magiging patas tayo sa hearing na ito. Pakinggan natin ang lahat ng involved. Ang importante, lumabas po ang katotohanan, mapanagot po kung sino po yung may kasalanan at patuloy na naisusulong natin ang interes at kapakanan ng mga kababayan natin. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga mahirap nating kababayan na nagkakandahirap pa po maghanap ng pambili ng kanilang gamot. Ang hirap pong maging mahirap. Dapat po itulungan sila, hindi pagsamantalahan. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat, Senator Go. Senator Cayetano.
Mr. President, I have no doubt that Senator Go will be very fair, unbiased, and judicious if its committee will hear. But may I ask, tatlo kasi dun sa kumpanya, Go, kamag-anak ba ni Senator Go yung mga Go dun?
Hindi daw. He answered it earlier.
So how about the Cayetano? May I know if Senator Pia is related to that Jaime ba? Jaime. No, you know, it might be funny but I just want to put it on record kasi baka mag-hearing tayo and now people believe things that are more incredible. So ayoko lang na mag-hearing tapos sabihin, panay ka mag-anak ni Bongo yan, panay ka mag-anak ni Pia Cayetano, related din ako kay Senator Pia Cayetano.
Sa akin lang, Mr. President, I think His Honor should answer his own question because mas kilala niya lahat ng mga Cayetano. Masipag ho yan maghanap ng lahat ng aming kamag-anak sa Norte, sa Bulacan, sa Pampanga. So
to
kung
my
hindi
knowledge,
niya kilala, lalong hindi ko po kilala.
Correct me if I'm wrong dahil ate ka eh. So, but ang alam ko, hindi tayo related, di ba? So, but my last question is, Senator Go, if you're going to hear it tomorrow, we have kasi a 3-day notice So baka hindi mag-attend yung mga board of directors niyan tomorrow. So I leave it up to you. I just wanted to input that just to make sure na we are sure not only of due process, but then we really get the answers, because I think it's really a big issue and problem. But in advance, congratulations for taking this up, and I hope we get to the bottom of it.
Actually, last week, nabasa ko po yung statement ni Senator JV, and then we issued a invitation, no? So may invitation po sa lahat, no? Sa lahat ng involved. So nasagot ko po kanina, since wala rito si Senator Alan Cayetano, for the record, nasagot ko kanina, hindi ko po kamag-anak yan, at wala po akong kamag-anak na nananamantala sa ating mga kababayan. At gaya na sinabi ko, marami pong go dyan sa lahat ng kanto. Yung traffic light, yung green, go yan. So lahat yan go. Anyway, salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, and even ghost programs are not related to Senator Go. Mr. President, to allow our colleagues, Mr. President, we have been talking on the sides, Mr. President, the entire time. And of course, we will proceed with the hearings that will be conducted by the Senate Committee on Health. But for this particular matter, Mr. President, with regard to the speech of the gentleman from San Juan, Senator Estrada, and Senator Tulfo, the gentleman from Isabela and Davao, we would like to assure our colleagues that we will talk about it extensively in our caucus. So for the meantime, may I just move that we refer this to the Committee on Rules, Mr. President, not just the privilege speeches, but including the manifestations thereon, Mr. President. I so move, Mr. President.
And there being no objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, this juncture, move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 958. This is the resolution commending the 26 awardees of the 16th Ani ng Dangal Awards. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion, motion is approved.
May we
Yes,
ask the Secretary to read the title?
Title of the measure.
Resolution congratulating and commending the 26 awardees of the 16th Ani ng Dangal Awards.
There being no, maybe to hasten the proceedings, will we recognize the sponsor or we just adopt it immediately?
Mr. President, we move that we recognize, I move that we recognize our Senate President Pro Tem to deliver her sponsorship speech.
Yes, our Senate President Pro Tem is recognized. Senator Legardo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we gather in this august chamber to recognize the talent and dedication of our 16th Ani ng Dangal awardees. It is my great pleasure and pride to present the Ani ng Dangal awardees who represented the Philippines in the global artistic scene. Since 2009, we have garnered an overwhelming number of artists who have received this prestigious award. 740 artists were recognized since 2009 till 2023. And these awards are not just tokens of appreciation, but symbols of our pagiging marangal, malikhain, and mapagbago as Filipinos. As bannered by the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, the culture agency that is very dear and close to our hearts as we champion cultural initiatives. I must say that the trophies designed by our national artists is really a great privilege and concrete evidence of the perseverance of our awardees. That said, the trophy itself embodies Filipino creativity, inspired by the Sari Manok of Maranaos as a symbol of good fortune, prosperity, and a significant character in their arts. The stalk of rice represents the harvest of arts. The 7 colorful grains of rice symbolizes 7 arts: architecture, cinema, dance, drama, literature, music, visual arts. Each awardee present here today deserves the award and the trophy that went through careful consideration and meticulous artistry. To our artists, performers, writers, filmmakers, cultural advocates who have been honored in the Metropolitan Theater last February 20 in the presence of His Excellency Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. and are honored again today, your work transcends our vast archipelago, delivering our cultural and artistic landscape throughout the world. And your work knows no boundaries, overcoming language barriers and touching the hearts and souls of people across our country. May you soar up high with the support of the Senate, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, and the whole government. May the wind and the sarimanok be with you in your continued artistic endeavors. We salute you for your dedication to excel, empower, and embrace your social responsibility and commitment to use your artistry for the prosperity of our nations. Congratulations to our Ani Nandangal awardees. Mabuhay.
Thank you very much, our distinguished sponsor, Chairman of the Committee on Arts and Culture, Senator Lauren Legarda, for the sponsorship.
Yes,
Mr. President,
Yes.
I have a sponsorship speech, but I'm happy to just insert it into the record to honor, just like our sponsor has done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We take note of that.
Thank you,
Maraming
Mr.
salamat.
President. This representation, and I think most, if not all of us here, join the statements made by our distinguished Senate President Pro Tem and Senator Pia Cayetano. And Mr. President, no member wishes to interpolate or propose any amendments to the measure. I now move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 958, subject to style. So move, Mr.
There
President.
being no objection, proposed Senate Resolution number 958 is approved and adopted by the Senate. Congratulations, the sponsor. And if we can be made all...
Yes, I was about to move, Mr. President, and with the permission of the body, that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution.
Yes, we take note of the measure as an approval by the sponsor.
May I ask for a minute suspension to allow our guests?
Do you want to approve
Oh,
both
yes.
already, and then we can just suspend and ask them one by one to come up? Yeah, thank you.
We will submit to the wisdom of our Senate President, as always. Mr. President, I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 959. This is the resolution commending the recipients of the Gawad sa Manlilikha ng Bayan, Gamaba Award. So move, Mr. President.
Yes, there being no objection, motion's approved. We ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Resolution congratulating and commending the 9 recipients of the Gawad sa Manlilikha ng Bayan, Gamaba Award, or the National Living Treasures Award for 2023 for their exemplary contributions to the promotion and safeguarding of our Philippine cultural heritage.
Mr. President, sponsor the measure. Move that we recognize our Senate President Pro Tem, Senator Lauren Legarda. So move, Mr. President.
The champion of arts and culture in the Senate, no other than our Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Legarda. is recognized.
Thank you once again, Mr. President. I stand with great delight and honor before you today as we formally adopt Senate Resolution 959. I will no longer read the heart of the resolution, but this is our commitment in supporting the refinement of our country's culture and the arts. This resolution is really a testament that culture is indeed a part of nation building and policy making here in the hallowed halls of the Senate. Last year has been an enriching journey in the line of culture because of our long list of achievements. There was Presidential Proclamation 427, Series 2023, declaring 9 new Manlilikha ng Bayan, which is a great event to conclude 2023. Several factors are causing setbacks in the safeguarding of our traditional arts, and we know that modernization, digitization affect the interests of our youth, making them less drawn to the practice of traditional arts. So we value this Gamaba Award, and we know that our culture is vulnerable to countless influences, and we shall strive to preserve and revitalize it. So we have committed to cultural initiatives and engage our betters, our cultural betters and masters across the country. So I am so happy that we have our Gamabas here, the Gawad ng Manlilikha ng Bayan Award, the National Living Treasures, a prime and highly effective effort to safeguard and transmit traditional arts to our youth. It is institutionalized through Republic Act 7355. Gamaba recognizes the finest traditional artists of our country, especially those outside of Metro Manila. It's a complex, long process that decentralizes our art, ensures the skills will be practiced and carried on until the next generation. So I would like to encourage every Filipino to champion our cultural programs, advocacies, and I assure you that cultural work is both honorable and fulfilling as you will experience and embrace our vast and diverse heritage. So I look forward to this day because we are graced with the presence of our 9 gamabas, and 2 of them have already blessed us here at the plenary in the past months with their chants. Adelita Romualdo Bagcal, an Ilocano master of oral traditions from Bana, Ilocos Norte, and Rosie Godwino Sula, a Tiboli chanter from Lake Cebu, South Cotabato. They are joined by Abina Tawide Cogwit from La Paz, Agusan del Sur, and Agusan Manobo embroiderer, a Sama master of traditional dance from Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, Sakinur Ain Mugong de Lasas, Tiboli brass caster from Lake Cebu, South Cotabato, Bundos, Bansil, Farah, Marifera Vidas, Ganahon, a Higaunon mat weaver from Malaybalay, Bukidnon, Mr. President. Amparo Balansi Mabanag, a Gadang embroiderer from Paraceles Mountain Province. Samporonia Pagsak Mandalo, a Mandayak ikat weaver from Caraga Town, Davao Oriental. Tiboli ikat weaver from Lake Cebu, South Cotabato, Barbara, Hibed, Ofong. Alam ninyo, tuwan-tuwa po ako. Sobrang nakakataba ng puso kapag personal kong nakakasalamuha ang ating mga malilika ng bayan. Sila ang nagbibigay buhay sa ating sining at kultura. Ang kanilang mga kwento ay punong-puno ng karanasan at kasanayan. Ang kanilang mga kamay, talento, ang nagpanday at nagpapatuloy ng kultura ng kanilang mga komunidad. Ang kanilang buhay at kagalingan ay hindi natin matatawaran. Ito ay mga haligi ng ating pagkakakilanlan, mga paalala ng mga pamana at daluyan ng ating pagkamalikhain at pagka-Filipino. As we celebrate this momentous occasion, let us express our gratitude, recognition to our 2023 Gamaba awardees. Patuloy natin silang pagpugayan, pasalamatan, suportahan. Isang makasining na araw at lunti ang Pilipinas sa ating lahat. Nandito po sila ngayon sa ating bulwagan. Congratulations sa mga Gamaba.
Yes, maraming salamat Senator Lauren Legarda for championing their cause. Alam nyo kami sa Bukidnon, we value there's one from Bukidnon from the I believe it's Alaandig or Higaonon tribe that is represented here today. We just celebrated the Kamulan Festival. That's a celebration of all the 7 tribes of Bukidnon. So thank you for championing their cause.
Sir President, Senator Pia Cayetano would like to co-sponsor the measure.
Yes, Mr.
Senator
President.
Cayetano is recognized.
I have a speech and I'll just insert it into the record in the interest of time to honor the Gamaba awardees. Thank you.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you
Senator
very
Cayetano.
much. Mr. President, no member wishes to interpolate or propose any amendments to the measure. I move that we adopt Senate Resolution number 959 subject to stand. So move, Mr. President.
There be no objection to the motion. Proposed Senate Resolution number 959 is approved and adopted by the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, also Senator Bato de la Rosa would like his speech, his co-sponsorship speech to just be inserted into the records.
Thank you.
And
We take
with the
note.
permission of the body, I move that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution.
Yes, there be no objection.
Thank you.
The motion's approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we consider proposed Senate Resolution number 1003, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 1015, and proposed Senate Resolution number 988, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 992 and 1004. This is the resolution commending University of the Philippines College of Law for their victory at Stetson International Environmental Moot Court Competition, and commending the UP again, Mr. President, the College of Law Jesup team. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes, there be no objection. Motion's approved. We ask the Secretary to read the title of the 2 measures.
Resolution number 988, resolution congratulating and commending the University of the Philippines UP College of Law Jesup team for their victory at the 2024 Philip C. Jesup International Law Moot Court Competition. Resolution number 1003, commending and congratulating the University of the Philippines College of Law for their victory in the 28th Annual Stetson International Environmental Moot Court Competition.
Again, Mr. President, this is with the consent of the body. So I move that we recognize our distinguished colleague from the great province of Aurora, Senator Sani Angara, to sponsor the measures.
The birthplace of surfing, do not forget,
Yes.
Aurora. Senator Angara is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Belated happy birthday to you.
I thank you very much.
We are all honoring some best oralists. Never mind. But I'd also like to greet Senator Cayetano and Senator Gatchalian. If I may be allowed a note of pride, Mr. President, two of the laws that were discussed by our colleagues were Angara laws by my father. The Gamaba law, the National Living Treasures law, which passed in 1992, and the Generics law, which passed in 1988. Just pasensya na po, hindi ko mapalipas. Thank you for the indulgence of our colleagues. Mr. President, I'd like to greet the Dean of the UP College of Law, the alma mater of our minority leader, and our chairperson of the Blue Ribbon Committee, Senator Pia, the birthday celebrant, Dean Darlene Marie Berberabe, who is with us today. Yan. She's not the honoree, Mr. President. I'm just greeting her. She's the Dean of the UP College of Law, and she's the salutatorian of our batch. Except I did not graduate with that batch because I was delayed by 1 year, Mr. President. But anyway, I'll go to my speech because I know we want to caucus, Mr. President. Tayo po ay tumatayo ngayong araw para malaman ng taong bayan ang mga tagumpay ng mga magagaling na mag-aaral mula sa University of the Philippines College of Law nitong mga nakaraang buwan. Sa pamamagitan ng proposed Senate Resolution number 992 at 1003, nais nating magbigay-pugay sa UP Law Jesup Team at UP Law Stetson Team. Itong UP Law Jesup Team, kasama po dyan sila Mary Regine Dadole, Pauline De Leon, Pauline Samantha Sagayo, Chinzen Viernes at Ignacio Lorenzo Villarreal. Nandito po sila sa gallery. Maybe you would like to stand up to be noticed, ladies and gentlemen, future officers of the court. Yan po, andun po sila. Sila po ay naging world champion. Hindi po lang ito Philippine. May championship dito po sa Philippines, pero that is only alam po ni Minority Leader at saka ni Senator Pia ito, that is a prelude. At saka nila Senator Amy, who's also from the UP College of Law. Na this is only a prelude to the world championship where it is a very rigorous competition. The best law schools from several countries in the world. Itong 2024 Philip C. Jesup International Moot Court Competition, kung saan ang international rounds ay ginanap sa Washington, D.C. mula March 30 hanggang April 6. Ito naman po sa Resolution number 1003, pinapakita natin ang ating paghanga sa UP Law Stetson Team na binubuo nina Noel Francis Galinato, Miriam Celine Misiano, at Alia Dominic Yao dahil sila ay naging world champion sa 28th Annual Stetson International Environmental Moot Court Competition itong April 10 to 13 nitong taong 2024. Ano po ang moot court? Mr. President, ito ay kompetisyon na sinasalihan ng mga law schools sa buong mundo kung saan sinisimulate ang mga oral arguments ng abogado kapag may mga kasong hinaharap sa International Court of Justice o ICJ. At tulad sa ICJ, nananalo ang panig na may pinakamalinaw at pinakamatimbang na argumento. Kasama rin po natin ang kanilang coaches, si Professor Romel Haen Casis, and classmate ko po yan, magaling ho talaga magdebate yan. Kaya natutuwa po ako na he is the coach. Professor Marian Criel Garcia Vitug, nandito din po. Hindi ko po kaklase dahil bata pa po yan. Mr. President, para magtagumpay sa mga moot court na ito, hindi lang dapat magaling magsalita at magsulat ang mga sumasali. Dapat may malalim na pag-unawa sila sa mga batas, polisiya at isyong kinakaharap ng daigdig at ng iba't ibang mga bansa. Sa madaling salita, Mr. President, hindi po biro ang magtagumpay sa mga moot court na ito. Kahanga-hanga na nagbibigay-pugay tayo sa hindi isa kundi dalawang koponan ng ating mga kababayan ngayong araw. Kilala ang Stetson International Environmental Moot Court Competition sa buong mundo bilang isa sa pinakatanyag na pagalingan ng mga nag-aaral ng pag-aabogasiya. Ginaganap sa Gulfport, Florida campus ng Stetson University. Partikular na nakatuon ang moot court na ito sa pagdidebate ng mga pinakamahihirap na environmental challenges na kinahaharap ng daigdig. Very timely, Mr. President. Para makaabot sa international finals, dumaan po sa regional competitions ang UP Law Stetson team kung saan 27 or 27 na koponan ang lumahok mula sa iba't ibang bansa tulad ng Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. At pagdating naman sa international finals kung saan lumahok ang lahat ng kampyon mula sa iba't ibang rehiyon ng mundo, 19 na law school ang tinalo na huling kalaban nila ang Singapore Management University o SMU. Ang panalo ng UP Law Stetson team ay ang pangalawa na ng UP College of Law at bukod dito namukod tangi sina Miriam Celine Misiano at na kinilala bilang overall best oralist sa mga preliminary rounds at si Alia Dominic Yao na nanalo bilang third best oralist sa mga preliminary rounds at best oralist nung championship round. Meanwhile, the Jessup competition is considered the oldest and the biggest international moot court competition in the world. Here, roughly 600 law schools from over 100 countries compete each year in global multi-round events administered by the International Law Students Association. The competition started in 1960 but went international starting from 1968, and teams from the Philippines have participated since then. And the recent win of the UP Law Jessup team marks only the third time the Philippines has clinched the championship. UP Law first won in 1995, and Ateneo de Manila University also won in the 2000s. The general format follows that of a simulated dispute raised to the ICJ between two nations concerning matters related to public international law. Teams prepare what are called written memorials and make 45-minute oral presentations, very much like how they would have argued if they were actually handling a case in the International Court of Justice or ICJ. The task is harrowing. Not only did UP Law Jessup emerge at the top, after it won over Argentina's Universidad Torquato di Tella, our very own Ignacio Lorenzo Villarreal was cited as the best oralist of the championship round. It is important, Mr. President, that we highlight today that both winning teams would not have succeeded were it not for their coaches and faculty advisors, Senior Lecturer Marian Vitug and Associate Professor Romel Casis, and of course, Dean Darlene Marie Berberabe. It was with their guidance and constant support that the respective UP College of Law teams had succeeded so spectacularly in the global scene. That is a hallmark of the kind of educators that the UP College of Law is blessed with. The people who frequent Malcolm Hall at UP Diliman know very well the words attributed to the US Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, nandun po sa Marmol, pagka-entry po dun sa UP, sa Malcolm Hall, where it says, the business of a law school is not sufficiently described when you say it is to teach law or to make lawyers. It is to teach law in the grand manner and to make great lawyers. Araw-araw ito nakikita sa mga pumapasok sa lobby ng Malcolm Hall. Marahil taglay ang diwa nito, ginabay at hinanda ni na Professor Vitug at Casis at ni Dean Berberabe at ang kanyang mga kasamang profesor ang ating mga koponan para maabot nila ang mga pandaigdigang panalo na ating hinahangaan ngayong araw. Mr. President, naglalaan po tayo ng panahon para kilalanin ang mga panalo ng ating mga kababayan dahil pinapaalala nila sa atin ang angking galing at talino na taglay ng Tatak Pinoy. Iba po ang Tatak Pinoy. Mabuhay po ang UP College of Law, ang UP Law Jessup team, ang UP Law Stetson team. Congratulations po sa inyo. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Senator Angara.
Mabuhay din po si Sani Angara, Mr. President.
Yes, a product of UP Law.
Yes, Mr. President.
Together
Mr.
with
President,
several here. Maraming UP Law dito.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, our Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Risa Ontiveros, would like to co-sponsor the measure, Mr. President, on Senate Resolution number 988, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 992 and 1004, Mr. President.
Yes, we'd like to recognize Senator Risa Ontiveros. Not yet ready or suspend first? Senator Pia Cayetanos.
Mr. President, yes.
we can recognize Senator Pia Cayetano first.
Senator Pia Cayetano, Mr. President.
Also a product of UP Law.
Mine is just a manifestation, Mr. President.
Yes.
In the interest of time, I will insert into the record my co-sponsorship speech. But my manifestation is also directed to Senator Angara and his team. They failed to, we are all proud of the accomplishments of the UP College of Law students and of course their professors and mentors. But Senator Angara, I'm referring to you. So Senator Tolentino, please do not talk to Senator Angara. So
Senator Angara, you're being requested to listen to the manifestation of Senator Cayetano.
I know. That's why Senator Tolentino, just 30 seconds. So Senator Angara, failed to mention one small but very important fact in the delivery of his speech. 3 of the Jesup Moot Court participants are our sorority sisters. And we have to mention it because, of course, I am a proud Deltan and Senator Angara is a proud Sigma Rhoan. So we'd like to mention that Shinjen Viernes, batch 18, Pauline Samantha Sagayo, batch 20, and Mary Regine Dadole, batch 21. A few years ago, when the late Senator Angara, former Senate President Drilon, Senator Angara, who else? There were a couple of Sigma Rhoans here, much more senior than me. But sadly, I find I shouldn't say sadly, but now I think I'm the most senior among the Deltans and the Sigma Rhoans here. So it is my duty to call out the younger generation of Deltans who we are very proud of. So congratulations. And I single them out. Kindly indulge me because, we have a bond that transcends time. But I'm proud of each and every one of you, not just the Deltans. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. May I just ask if Senator Tolentino is a product of UP law? Ateneo, but maybe as a master's in UP because he has 4 masters. No, wala pa sa UP.
From Michigan and Columbia, Mr.
I'm
President.
sorry, imported pala yung kanyang masters.
Our
Yes.
resident legal expert, Mr. President. Senator Tolentino.
All right,
our
Majority
idol.
Leader.
Yes, Mr. President, I move for the previous motion to recognize our distinguished Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Yes, Senator Risa Ontiveros recognized.
Salamat kaayo, Mr. President. Mr. President, pinagmamalaki ko pong i-co-sponsor itong mga resolusyon. The Philip C. Jessup International Law Moot Court Competition is the largest and most prestigious competition of its kind, in which law students from all over the world compete in their mastery of public international law in the context of disputes between nations. This year, the UP Law Jessup team emerged as world champions, besting over 642 teams from more than 100 countries and made our country proud. As an aside po, I'd like to mention that all the lawyers in my staff hail from the UP College of Law. Also, so I share in their pride kahit ako po'y loyal na Blue Eagle. In the midst of increasing international tensions caused by intrusions into the West Philippine Sea, contrary to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and the landmark decision of the Permanent Court of Arbitration, as well as the frustratingly inconsistent and diffident response of our own government officials, the UP Law, Jessup, and Stetson teams serve as proof that Filipinos truly possess strength of mind and spirit, and that the Philippines is truly capable of standing our ground and holding our own in the field of international law. These exceptional students give me hope that future law practitioners will continue to defend the interests of our country and staunchly advocate for the rule of law, both within and beyond our borders. In this regard, and in celebration of these historic triumphs, the Senate should rightly be united. Mabuhay sa UP Law Jessup at Stetson team. Salamat kaayo, Mr.
Yes,
President.
congratulations to them. And I'd like to say, for the record, that I wish we had more lawyers in the Senate. I hope the next batch of senators would have also distinguished lawyers. They're very hard to find now. Maybe
We really miss the likes of Senator Gordon because he was unique. He was a maroon eagle, Mr. President.
he was a blue maroon.
He was a maroon eagle.
Maroon Eagle. Yes, I hope that we can get more lawyers as well, this distinguished institution. And that we re-elect our lawyers like Senator Tolentino. That is why I'm always campaigning for you, Senator Tolentino. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I associate myself with the statement speech given by Senator Angara as the University of the Philippines should always be recognized as one of the torchbearers in our legal system. And I recognize and associate myself with Justice Malcolm. Justice Malcolm has always been a legal pillar, not just here in the Philippines, but in other jurisdictions as well. So we congratulate the winning students coming from the University of the Philippines College of Law, a place where I reviewed for the bar exams, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Senator Tolentino. And I'm sure the elation is supported by Senator Pimentel, who is also bar top-notcher, a graduate of UP Law,
Pride of UP Law, Mr.
and
President.
a chess champion at that.
Yes. Yes, Mr. President. May I also mention, Mr. President, that my father is part of UP Law. Unfortunately, he didn't graduate because of martial law and writ of habeas corpus. But Mr. President, I'd like to be associated with the statements made by our dear colleague, Senator Sani Angara. This representation, together with Senate President Pro Tem, would just like to insert into the records our co-sponsorship speech, Mr. President.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
take note.
Mr. President. We'll do this one by one, Mr. President. There being no member who wishes to interpolate or propose amendments to the measure, I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 988, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution numbers 992 and 1004, subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion, proposed Senate Resolution number 988, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions number 992 and 1004, is hereby approved and adopted by the Senate. Congratulations to the sponsor and to the awardees. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We congratulate our awardees. And Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution.
There being no objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, no member wishes to interpolate or propose amendments to the measure, Mr. President. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1003, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 1015, subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion, proposed Senate Resolution number 1003, in consideration of proposed Senate Resolution number 1015, is hereby approved and adopted by the Senate. Congratulations once again.
Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move that all present members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution. So,
There
moved,
being no
Mr.
objection to the motion, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I suspend, Mr. President, and allow our guests, our awardees, to proceed to the rostrum for a picture-taking ceremony, may I just acknowledge our good friend from Bombo Radio, Sir Herman Basbano, is here in the Senate gallery. We,
Yes, a dear
just like
friend,
to
a dear
acknowledge
friend
him,
of
Mr.
many of
President.
us.
Yes.
Welcome to your Senate, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's also president of the KBP,
Yes, Mr. President.
Sana ng Broadcasters
Yes.
ng Pilipinas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we suspend the session.
Just a reminder before we suspend that we still have a caucus, ladies
Yes,
and
Mr.
gentlemen,
President.
very important caucus to discuss our plans for the next 4 weeks. Session is suspended.